Tutorial, I am going to show you how to work with selection tools. So as you're working in Photoshop, you will need to select certain things. And there are a number of reasons why you would do this. So I'm just going to take this image and play around with it and show you how you can use selection tools to create new images or to move things around and just do all sorts of different things, okay? So this is just an image that I was working on. It's just two prints that I was just trying to visualize them together. So I put them together. So this is just a little mock-up that I've done, but it's going to be perfect for showing you how to work with selection tools. So this is just an image, and I want to go ahead and make a new layer, or make a copy, excuse me, of this image, okay? I don't really want to work on this. And eventually we might turn the visibility off, but for now it's totally, this is fine. Okay, so over here we have, and yours may be a little bit different, we have this little square with dashes around it, okay? And this is called the rectangular marquee tool. Now, if you right click, you'll see elliptical marquee, single row marquee, single column marquee tool, okay? So I'm just going to start with the rectangular marquee tool. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to click and drag across my image, okay? And now you'll see these, what we call the marching ants, okay, across this. That means that I have selected this square. So I'll show you what that means. I'm going to go up to the move tool, and I'm going to click and drag, and you see I'm able to move this around. I've just clicked and moved it. Now, if we turn off our layer, we see that we've actually cut it out, okay? Which is fine for our purposes. There are ways to get around that. I can press Command J, and it makes a copy of it, okay? So, and then I can just put that back in there, okay? So there's ways to where I don't have to do that, but anyway. Edit, undo, move. Now, well, that's not important. But because I move this on a layer, I'm not able to go back in and move this back unless I select it again. But that's okay. We're just kind of looking and seeing what the selection tools do, okay? So let's try a different one. Let's try the elliptical marquee tool. And this time I'm going to come over here. And for our purposes, let's just press Command J, okay? And what it's done is it's taken that selection, here, let me click all this off, and it's moved it to a new layer, okay? Which is another way to do that, okay? It really doesn't matter right now. I just kind of want to show you guys how this works. So let's go, I'm clicked on that layer, so I'm going to click and drag that over. All right, and let's see, I'm going to actually move this on top of this layer so I can put this up here. Okay, so that was the rectangular marquee tool, and you can play around with these. I don't use the single row marquee tool or the single column marquee tool. I've just never found a reason to use them, but you're welcome to play around with them. Okay. So let's go in actually, and I'm going to click this off, and I'm going to merge visible, okay? So I'm going to keep my background layer plain, but let's just pretend like, okay, I like what I've done. I've moved some things around. I'm happy with this. So I'm going to go to layer and merge visible, okay? This is just going to keep things a little bit cleaner. Okay, so now let's go to the lasso tool. So if I right click on that, you have three tools: the lasso tool, the polygonal lasso tool, and the magnetic lasso tool. Now all of these are really, really great and powerful tools, okay? So let's start with the polygonal lasso tool, okay? So what you can do with this is basically make any polygon. All right, so let me just show you what I mean. So I'm gonna click, okay, and you see it's making a line. All right, so I'm gonna click over here, click over here, click over here, up here, up here. I'm just making a shape, and you can make any shape that you want, and once you connect it, okay, you've got this shape selected. So again, I can press Command J if I want. It's moved that to another layer. Here, I'll click these off so you can see, okay? And now I can move this around, turn these back on, you know, move this around, play around with it. And now, just like anything else, I could go into Edit, I could go to Transform. Maybe I want to rotate it, okay? Maybe I like the shape, but I just kind of want to move it, okay? The computer's being a little slow. Okay, there we go. Okay, so I'm going to move this over here because that looks pretty wild, okay? Okay, so that is the polygonal lasso tool. So, I mean, most of the time you're going to just, like if I wanted to select this square, or rectangle, I could easily just go along the edges, okay? And this is really helpful when what you're trying to select isn't a perfect square or a perfect rectangle, okay? You can just kind of follow, okay? And now, click on this. If that ever happens, it means that you're not on the right layer, okay? So I'm just going to kind of move this over. Okay, this is looking cool. Now we're getting into some weird stuff, okay? And now if you're ever selected and you need to deselect, you can go up to Select, Deselect, okay? Now, so that was the polygonal lasso tool. Let's right click again. And let's just go to the regular lasso tool. Now this is something that you'll use. Actually, you know what? For our purposes, what I'm going to... No, here, I'll just show you. Okay. Say I want to select like an area. And sometimes if there's like an object off to the side, this is a really great tool. But I'm just going to kind of draw a circle around this area here. Grab the Move tool and move that. Okay, the reason it did that, actually delete. Let's go here, Command J. All right, I'm going to show you this again. Let's get the lasso tool. I'm going to kind of make a circle around this little bit here. And now I can just kind of select an area, okay, and move it around. So that's a really great tool. A lot of times it's really good for, like say you have a bunch of objects on one layer and you really just want to isolate one, you can select with that tool, okay? Okay, now the tool that I probably use the most is the magnetic lasso tool. So this is a really great tool and it allows you to make points around an object and it kind of will guess what it is you're trying to outline, and then you can move things and be very specific about what you're selecting. So I'm actually going to zoom in, okay? I'm going to zoom in a decent amount. Okay, and I'm going to click on this layer. So let's kind of move over here. Okay, and let's just say I want to select this here, okay? So this is a small little object, right? But what I'm going to do is I'm going to click a point on the outside of the object and I'm just going to slowly outline it. Now you see it's already following the line. It's following the outline of the object. It kind of works through contrast. But I'm going to click along the way just to give it some little points of reference. If you try and let it do the whole thing itself, it'll do it, but it doesn't do as good of a job. So you kind of want to help it out a little bit. You're just kind of clicking points along the way so that it knows where it's going. And again, it's using contrast to do this. Okay, and take your time with this. You know, you definitely want it to do a good job selecting it. Kind of click, click. But you see, it's doing a pretty good job. Like, it understands where the line is. I'm just guiding it. Okay, so I have selected this, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to press Command J, because what I want to do is make a copy. Okay, and it's put it on another layer. So now, and this is really great, so I can, let's just turn all this off so we can just see this, okay? And you see, you know, it definitely, it could have been a little bit cleaner, but for our purposes, I think this is going to look really great. So I'm going to press Command J. I want to make a bunch of these, okay? Command J, Command J, okay? And let's say I want to put these all in one layer together, merge visible, okay? So now, oh, that's kind of crazy looking. So now these are all on a layer together, and I can kind of move them around. Maybe I want a row up here. That's a good idea. Let's go to Edit, Transform, Rotate. So I'm going to rotate it this way. And that rotate tool is being really slow, sorry. Let's get on the move tool and move it up there. Okay. Let's zoom back out and see what this is looking like. So this is looking pretty wild, but this is a really fun way to play around with images, okay? There's also, let me show you one more thing. Let's say, well here, I'm just going to actually, let's make a copy of that, Command J. And I'm going to merge visible, just to kind of show you what is going on here. Merge visible. Okay, let's say I want to select an area within this and get rid of everything outside of it. Okay, a really good way to do that is like this. So I'm going to go to the rectangular marquee tool. And let's say I don't really like the edges, but I like the inside. Okay, because I'm like, whoa, this inside looks pretty cool. Okay, so I'm like, you know, I'd really like to just have this and get rid of everything outside of it. Okay, so what I'm going to go do, I'm going to go to Select, and I'm going to select Inverse. And what it's done now is it's selected the opposite of what you had selected. Okay, so now this is selected. Okay, so I'm going to press Delete. Okay, select, deselect. Okay, so I got rid of everything behind it, and now I can go in and do something like that, you know, fill the background, have that nice clean layer. Now again, this isn't gone, okay? My background copy is not gone. I just turned it off, okay? So again, if you ever need to select the opposite of what you have selected, you can go to Select, well, and click Inverse, okay? So those are just some simple selection tools and some ways that you can use them. I hope this tutorial was helpful, and I'll be back with more soon. Bye.